So we know that the intensity of a loading from a foundation upon a soil should be less than the bearing capacity of a soil. So first thing we need to know when we go for the design is the bearing capacity of a soil. So there are several methods available by which we can find out this bearing capacity, that is analytical method, building codes, or field test method. In field test method, tests are available such as standard penetration test or plate load test or static cone penetration test. So using these tests also we can find out the bearing capacity. So we'll see these tests one by one and other methods also. Building codes are not very reliable in finding out bearing capacity because they are based upon the soil description and not upon the actual field conditions. So they don't give very reliable results in bearing capacity. So first let's see the analytical method. So different tests are conducted, or we can say the load and settlement curve was plotted for different soils and three modes of failure are obtained from that. And we'll first see those modes of failure, and these three modes are general shear failure, punching shear failure, and local shear failure. So let's see what are these. First one is general shear failure. General shear failure happens in the sand, or it happens in the soils which show the brittle type stress strain behavior. That is, it happens in dense sand or consolidated clay or dense silt also. So in that case general shear happens. Let's see what are the other characteristics of this type of failure. So this is the load settlement curve. So what happens in general shear failure, when we increase the load, so the settlement also increases, but settlement does not increase much because it happens in soils of low compressibility. So the settlement will not be much up to certain extent, but as we reach this limit of the load, after that even we reduce the load, at that constant load the settlement will keep on increasing. So this is the clear point at which the failure is happening. So from the load settlement curve itself we can obtain the ultimate bearing capacity, that is QU. So that is its first characteristics. And so when we do this field test, so in this type of failure surface is obtained. So this failure surface, it starts from a wedge of a soil which is just below this footing, and it starts from here and it goes up to the surface. So the failure surface is clearly indicated, or it is clearly delineated in case of local shear failure. And what are the other things? So when this, what will happen, this wedge of the soil will try to push inward, and in doing that it will push the soil in these direction, leftward and rightward. So the soil will heave, or it will bulge on the top, and when the failure happens at that point this foundation will tilt. So it will tilt on one side. So that is also one of its characteristic. And the failure surface is well defined, as I said. What else? Failure is catastrophic and sudden. So we saw in this curve that up to this point the load is increasing and settlement is increasing, but after this point there is sudden change, or the failure happens suddenly after this point. So that is catastrophic and sudden, and the foundation tilts. So as I said, this foundation will tilt at failure. Bulging of the ground, so I also discussed this. The ground will bulge because this soil try to move outward. And other thing is the ultimate load can be easily located. So this, from the load settlement curve we can locate this, and this type of failure happens for dense sand. Now let's see our next type of failure. So we'll see the punching shear failure first. So in this type of failure only this surface is clearly indicated. This failure surface is clearly indicated up to the surface in only general shear failure. Other than that it is not proper. So in case of punching shear failure it is not at all visible. This one is the punching shear failure. So the failure surface is just there for this part, that is below the soil wedge. Apart from that, on the surface nothing is visible. So this type of failure happens in soils of high compressibility. So in this case, the settlement will be much higher. If we compare it with general shear failure or local shear failure, the settlement will be highest in case of punching shear failure, and the shear plane is not properly defined, so only the shear plane is there just below the footing, and it does not rise on the top or the side. And next point is, the soil beyond the loaded area is very little affected. So in this zone the soil is not getting affected. This footing is just penetrating into the soil, so it can easily penetrate, and the soil next to this footing will not be affected much. So that is one of the qualities or the characteristics of the punching shear failure. And after that, there is significant penetration, as I said, and there is vertical shear beneath the edges of the foundation. So here shear would be vertical. Mostly it is, if we compare it with this case, here shear is in this direction, that is radial direction, whereas in this case it is almost vertical. After that, load carrying capacity cannot be located from the load settlement plot. So this is the load settlement plot. What is happening here, as we are increasing the load, so even at a lower load the settlement is much higher if we compare it with general shear failure. So even if we, so here we can simply say that the bearing capacity is also less and the settlement is keep on increasing. We cannot clearly delineate a point where the failure is happening. So that is about punching shear failure. And after that, the third one is local shear failure. So local shear failure is the combination of the above two. It has some characteristics of general shear failure and some from the punching shear failure. So this is the one for local shear failure. Here the shear planes are visible but not up to the top. It will be visible clearly in this part, but in this part it is not clearly visible, and the heaving also takes place but less than the general shear failure. So some heaving will be there, and apart from that, the settlement will also be more in this case. It will be less than punching shear and more than general shear failure, but settlement is comparatively more than general shear, we can say. And after that, a slight bulging, as I said, significant compression. So this one relates with the punching shear failure. So in this case also it happens in the compressible soils. So settlement will be more than the general shear, we can say. The load settlement curve does not indicate the ultimate load clearly. So here also, as we increase the load, the settlement is continuously increasing, so we cannot clearly delineate the ultimate load point. And it happens mostly in loose sand. So these are the three types of failure we saw, and there are some more points related to this. So when does general shear happen, or local shear, or punching shear? So deep foundation will always fail in punching shear failure. So punching shear failure is mostly common when it comes to deep foundation, because this curve here we can say that it is between relative density and the relative depth, that is df by b. So df by b will be higher in case of deep foundation, because we said it is greater than 15 for deep foundation. So the if it is here somewhere or below this, so obviously in this part only punching shear failure is happening according to this curve. This curve is for sand, because we are talking about relative density and relative depth. Generally for granular soil phi greater than 36. So if this angle of friction is greater than 36 degree, then general shear failure will happen, and if it is less than 29 degree, then local shear will happen. This is for general shear, and we can make some points about the this relative density also. So the relative density is less than, this point is 0.3, so if it is less than 0.3, in that case only punching shear is happening, and between 30 to 70 it is local shear, and greater than 70 it is general shear. So phi less than 20, that is phi less than 29 degree, as I said, it will be local shear failure. So these are the types of failure and some points related to them. One more point that is there is for general shear failure. So we can say here the relative density is 0.7 and the depth is 0, or we can say this df by b ratio is 0. Here the df by b ratio is something here between, let's say it is 0.5, and relative density is more than 0.7. So from this part we can say, as the df by b ratio increases, the relative density at which, the dr value at which general shear happens or general shear failure happens, it will also increase, because if I'm talking about this depth, so it will require more value of relative density. So at this point only the shear or general shear failure can happen. So these are the points related to these three type of failure. Next we will see the Terzaghis theory of bearing capacity, and there we will consider the general shear failure only, because that is the failure for which the failure planes are properly defined up to the surface. So it helps in finding out or providing some proper relationship between the resistance or shear resistance.